if Ollie's gone there in the middle of the centre halves, it gives room for Tyler to come as wide as possible. And that's when Laurel could fill this pocket. So I'm not going to give too much. Well done for Ollie doing it. Just doing it a bit earlier would be better. And we should be able to find a forward pass by now, to be honest. And sometimes just look out for this, where we create our own problems by not creating the angle early enough or not filling in pockets. If you get that right, you'll be able to find a forward pass earlier. And then you won't leave yourselves at risk of passing the ball out of play or losing it. So as the game goes on, those are the few things that we'll be looking at. And look at all the little detail about the 1v1 battles that you'll be doing. If it's a fight for the second ball, just have a look. Could there be more urgency to win the ball? I think there was an offside there, but we couldn't tell because of the cameraman, but or some sort of foul. All right, so what's the setup? So that's fine. Teo was on the 4. We've got enough back to deal with it. Okay, good. Broke the first line on the counter. That's fine. Can we go forward? Good. We found our number 10 between the lines, but they're pushing us back, but that's fine. It's a good move, a great run and a great pass. I think he gave us offside, but I don't think it was. But that's not bad. I just want to pause it there and take it back. Patrick, you've got the right idea by trying to play Kelvin in. But is there anything else that you could have done before you passed it in behind for him?
Wait, Bez, sorry, I was watching on Fenton's screen and we've been disconnected. Were you speaking to me then?
Yeah. So can you see my screen or are you on your own? If you're on your own screen, go to 2311. If you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see you now. It's right.
Yeah, so can you see you've won the ball there? Yeah. You found the pass into Laurel to break the first line, which is good. Pass into our number 10, but we're still quite deep, but it's good play. To be fair,
was you asking what else I could have done?
Yeah, is there anything else that you could have done? But I might be being a bit harsh, but
there was a bit of space left still, so I could have probably stepped to bring a defender out and then played Kelvin in.
Yeah, so
to the right.
That's exactly it. So for all players who receive it between the lines here, right? You want to be able to try and make one of their back 4 commit before you pass the ball. On this occasion, their number 10 was working hard to get back and defend. That's why you had to release it earlier. But just trying to give you an example, at the top level or at the next level, Pat, you would be able to beat that player that was pressing you by taking your first touch forward and getting your body in front of him so he can't touch you anymore. Then you drive at one the back 4 to make them commit. If you drive for too long, yes, space will be limited for Kelvin, but then you can also get yourself into a shooting position.
Yeah,
there's enough space. He's still quite far away from the box for you to be able to drive. But you get what I mean? By that player there that was pressing you, if your first touch was forward and ahead of him, you take him out the game, you drive at the back 4, you make one the back 4 commit before you pass to Kelvin. If the back four keep dropping and they end up inside their box and you've still got the ball, then that's when you shoot. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, cool.
And that's another thing for the strikers. So Kelvin, Casimir, I think you're in here as well. You can make that decision for Pat. So by your movement, Kelvin, you've gone very, very early. It is a great run, but if you stall it or peel onto the other centre half to then make that movement, that forces Pat to drive with it. So it's things to think about, that you're together in your on the same mindset together with the same movement. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. If you rewind just a little bit there, Bez, I've noticed something with the pressing triggers. So for me, Kelvin should do a better job to stop that from getting to the goalkeeper. I know he said he was tired.
Yeah, I can't lie. In this, I wasn't pressing. I didn't press in a couple of games. I can't even lie. I'll put my hand up there. So.
Okay.
Thanks for the honesty, Kelvin. But just to bear in mind, like, think of it like this: it all has to be like connected. You're all linked. So if there's one player that lets the pressing down, yeah, it kind of like makes it difficult for a lot of other players. So in this game, I think I tried to tell you where if you're not going to press, just drop onto their number 4, which would be this player here. So if you are tired in the game, yeah, and you don't want to press the centre backs, you can have your starting position on this player, and then Teo would be free, and then Teo could press the centre backs for you. Do you know what I mean? If they switch it to the other centre back, then that's when you might have to get out there, but you can get out slowly. But yeah. Anyway, so if you have sorry, Oscar, did you want to
exactly the same trigger that I said. So when that ball gets switched, so ideally Kelvin's putting more pressure on that left centre half. As the ball is transferred over to the right centre half, this is things that Terrell and Teo, you have to start thinking about. That okay, we're making it very, very easy for them to play out and pick passes because there's no pressure on the football. We want to make it harder for them. And if you can get there by transferring over, there's a couple more clips coming up, by pressing that right centre back and leaving your space, then that's ideal for me.
Nice.
Okay.
Kelvin, anything on that or?
Nah, there's nothing on that. I just didn't want to, because in other, like, in my team, I obviously run, but I just didn't want to burn myself too much for like training the next day.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? So it wasn't like I
Kelvin.
didn't want to. Yeah, I was saving my energy, but I shouldn't. Next time, I just need to get fitter in it, if you can say.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So like, think of it like this: what I said before we started the analysis. Yeah, the players at your age who are playing full time are covering 4K a day. Yeah, and then on a match day, 10 to 11. So university football for you is like an opportunity to top up your distance covered for the week.
Yeah.
Do you get me? If I was you, and to be fair, like, I didn't know what I know now when I was your age, but if I did and I was you, I would be thinking to design a full-time program by myself.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? So you could have pressed, but I don't mean to sound harsh, but you could have pressed, you could have covered 4K in this game, and it would have been a good 4K, because instead of a 4K around the block, it's actually 4K of football. But anyway, if you do ever play, like, just keep that in mind. If you're playing outside of Tooting and Mitcham and you wanna top yourself up, that's a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a good thing they're still in their half. They can't get out. Teo's getting tight. Kelvin's not. I'm just joking around. Yeah, but
I wasn't.
I know, but you can see how it's going on here, where they've got a lot of time because of that. But that's fine. They're not going anywhere. They decided to go long. So that ball's not too bad, to be fair. Who knows, like, the trigger for, like, so what do we do when the ball's here, right, and they're about to go long? I'm talking to our back 4, so any defenders on the call, what do you start doing?
Start dropping.
Yeah, you start dropping. When do you start to drop?
When it's either when he looks up before he kicks it, or like I think that's number 7's even calling for it, or like lifting his hand in it. So you just got basically like one of them triggers, you just use it to start dropping, and then
exactly. Who's that talking?
Dan's.
Yes, nice one, Dan's. Good. That's good stuff. So what you want to do is, as soon as you recognize that they want to go long, you got to start dropping. All right, so what about if I was to talk to you about body shape, Dan's, if you want to carry on, what do you think body shape should be like when so you're there, you're chilling when you shouldn't really be, but just say you're shuffling along. Now you recognize that they're about to go long. What should your body shape be like?
Really and truly, should be side on, To be
Yeah,
honest, I think that is that Patrick, because he, like, okay, so yeah, he didn't start dropping either way, but he should be side on reading his movements, because it's either that kick doesn't fully meet its destination, because like maybe he hasn't kicked it well enough, but it should be side on and more closer. He should start closing the gap to that attacker.
exactly that. So it's Lewis here in the right back position.
Yeah.
So as the ball's about to go long, fairly side on, but squeezing up a little bit.
Yeah.
Trying to catch him offside. Okay, fair enough. But it's one of those where, imagine if our back line squeezed up a little bit more, you're actually, when the ball's in that high position there, you want to limit space in behind if you know they're going to exploit it. So we don't want our defensive line any higher than this. This is not too bad. Do you get what I mean? So
yeah,
Lewis is kind of like squeezing. That is it's a split second too late. Also, the body shape has now slightly changed. As the player's about to kick it, it's become square on. When the foot's about to make contact, that's when you should definitely.
That's when it should be dropping.
Yes, staying side on and dropping.
Do you think I should be tighter over to him as well, Besim? Am I too narrow there?
No, I think you're in the right position there, right? If you're out here too early, this player could disguise that long ball, find a pass into midfield, and then the number 9 could exploit the space you've left.
Okay, yeah.
What you're doing is correct. You're staying compact and you're waiting for the pass to be played first. The only thing that you could have tweaked on this bit is to not switch off and squeeze, but rather switch on, drop, and be side on.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So
Bez, I've got a question. So you see, for what you just said, yeah, what if let's just say that attacker is way faster than he is, and yet he still gives him that much space to, like, won't you say it's better for him specifically to like close the gap a bit more, so he doesn't have that much of a room to try catch up to him?
Yeah. Okay. Well, the way I would try explain it to you, Dan, is if there's a player who has a lack of pace, for example, you would try coach them, or you would want them to run back in a straight line, right? Because the goal that you're defending is in the middle of the pitch. So you want your starting position to be in the middle of the pitch. You want your recovery run to be in the middle of the pitch. If a player who maybe lacks a bit of pace goes too wide, the ball gets in behind, the distance from him and his own goal is now gone bigger.
Oh yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So now he's
diagonally,
yeah, exactly. So if he's running diagonally, he's actually going to run more distance now. He's added another 5 meters onto his run. But because he hasn't got the pace, he doesn't want to do that. So staying tucked in is fine. Just have a look at the way you turn, Lewis. Like, in what direction do you think? This goes for any fullback, by the way, and it also goes for centre backs. What direction should you turn once the ball's been played in behind?
Would it be my right hand shoulder instead of turning left? So my right.
It should be your right. Yeah. So instead of like turning your body in that direction, which then you've now lost probably another yard. So this is what I mean. It's almost like, if you get these finer details right, you don't. Dan's what I'm saying is, you don't have to be so rapid if you get your distances, your body shape, and if you recognize when to drop. If you're a clever, intelligent reader of the game, you can get away with a lack of pace. Do you get what I'm saying? And in this situation, you would have saved yourself a yard by dropping, having the right body shape, and also turning in the right direction.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. If it was a little bit like under hit, then it was, he may have been through on goal. So that's why those finer details is so important. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. All right, so we're gonna have a look at our setup. I'm not too sure what I'm on about there. I might be saying that what I've just said. I'm not, or maybe I am.
Yeah, I
Do you
think.
see it?
Yeah, you're demonstrating it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see the setup of us playing out. So Ollie, don't get too close behind the number 9, which is good. There's a gap for Pat, who's going to come inside. Good stuff. We switch and play, which is excellent. Look, listen, that's a great pass. That's a mistake from them. I don't know where their right back went. It's a great pass and a great run. Good run from Kelvin in the box. Listen, that was a great move. So we need to watch it again and appreciate it. Anyone got any questions on this? Because this is spot on. Like, Laurel's recognized there's space for Henry. Henry's out wide and he's got his pace. Perfect position from Henry, by the way, like on the shoulder of the fullback. For example, if I pause it, good touch just before Henry kicks it. He's onside. Don't know what the right back is doing, but you don't want Henry to be any deeper because he's losing 1 or 2 yards for no reason, and obviously any higher would be offside. So that is spot on. It's a good weight of pass. So Kelvin, good initial run to be able to run in this direction towards the back post, because if you run to the front zone too early, you'll close off your space. So you're doing the right thing by running to the back. And then once you've realized Henry's in a position to cut it back, then if you check your run here and wrap your left foot around it, it could have been a goal. If you're going in behind this player here, it will only work if this player engages Henry. If this player stayed, like his job would be to stay in between the posts. If he stayed in between the posts, you might not ever like get that cutback, if that makes sense. So maybe in this position here, so the goalkeeper's doing his job by being in line with the post. He's supposed to block anything that's in his 6-yard box. And this player is screening in front of you. I mean, it's not like the worst thing in the world, but if you just go over the detail, you've done the right thing by running in this direction. And then as soon as you know that Henry's beating this player, you've got to be thinking about creating this angle here for him. So basically, what they call it you're checking your run into the front zone. So you just check your run back into the front zone, wrap your left foot around it.
And just to add to Besim's point, Tio, if you have a look at your run, mate, would you do the same thing again?
Are you going to play it again?
Yeah, of course. Just talk me through it, mate.
I'll play it from the beginning. So Tio, can you see it?
Not really, no. It's kind of laggy.
Oh, is it? Okay, so if you want to get your YouTube up or your link, it's up to you. It's on 2510. I'm not sure if you can see it. Can everyone else see it all right? Or
yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I
cool.
can see it.
Because my internet is a bit dodgy sometimes. Bill, is it still buffering or can you see it?
Wait, so I went front post, is it?
You went front post.
Yeah.
So it's the second. Would you do it again? Because it's not a bad run.
Maybe check
I
my
think it
run.
was too close.
Yeah, 100%.
Wait on the edge. Yeah.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. With those late runs, what centre backs will always do is they'll go and defend the goal. They'll drop, and Kelvin's done a brilliant job of occupying both of them. Actually, one comes over to try and stop Henry. If you stand still, because their midfield is it 4?
Yeah.
Their tracking runners is shit. So if you stand still, you give that second option for Henry. Does that make sense? Whereas by you closing the space, 1, you're closing the space for Henry, and 2, you're closing the space for Kelvin. So you give him that second option for a cross. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so we can just go over a couple more points in this clip before we move on. So Tio and Kelvin, do you remember we done that drill where it's a basic one where I get 2 people to attack the cross, but one goes into the front post, one goes into the back post. So you could have done that in this situation. At the next level, you get the 9 and 10 who are on like a good wavelength, where the 10 will recognize the 9's going to go into the front zone. So I'm going to take up a different position. But there's a couple more things. So like Pat, where do you think you could be?
So I don't think I sprinted to get involved. I was quite kind of like 3/4 pace jogging, so I could definitely get closer to the edge of the box or even in that space at the back.
Yeah. So I'm gonna coach you guys like it's the top level. Otherwise, there's no point of compensating for fitness, if that makes sense. So I understand here you could be tired, but what I want to say is at the next level, you would be in the box at the back post, yeah, or like breaking your neck to get there. Lewis will be on the edge of the box as a right back. We'll have Laurel like just on the edge of the box, and we'll have Ollie there, and we'll have our 2 centre backs not on the halfway line, just a little bit higher. So everyone's completely in their half. We know it was a quick counter attack, and Henry is rapid. So people, I know everyone can't keep up with Henry, but it's one of those where we need to see you try, and it will help you in the next level if you get into a good habit of doing that. All right, so if we go to the corner. Okay, we've gone for the train with the 3, 1 on the keeper. That's fine. Not bad ball, not bad effort, to be fair. Like, we could have done better to get an attempt on goal.
I can't lie, I headed it backwards. I don't know how I did that.
Yeah. If I'm here, it looked like it was going in, but it ended up going backwards. But so it's one of those where we haven't really worked on set plays.
Nah, the ball was slippy. The ball was slippy.
All right, that's fine. Getting us free kicks in a dangerous area is good. Oh, all right. It's about to go in. It's not bad. It's not bad ideas. All right, so we've got to think about recovering back in, getting our shape again. Sometimes at this level that happens quite a bit. They need to do a bit better to keep the ball, but if we win it back, fair enough. But we need to think about getting our shape as soon as possible because we don't want to get done on any counter attacks, which in previous games where we've lost the game, like last season, sometimes it would be just out of a counter attack. So if we get our shape, we'll stop that from happening. So this is a good shape. It's difficult for them to play through now. We should get it back.
Yeah, but Laurel Teo, well done for recognising that you flipped the triangle. So you're not a 2 and a 1, you're a 1 and a 2 because they've both lined up. They've sent 2 central midfielders to build. Well done for recognising it.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So it's important to remember that when they've got a 3 in midfield, we've got a 3 in midfield, it's matched up. So if we set up with a 1 and a 2, it could change into a 2 and a 1 based on what their 3 are doing. So if we have a look. Fair enough, Henry's trying to get through. It's like not bad, like in that area, in the final third, if you've got the ball and you can beat players, I mean, by all means, let's do it. We just need to like kind of get up the pitch and have more bodies in and around their box and kind of suffocate teams. If you do that, it's more likely that the ball will end up in the net. All right, Ollie, good positioning in front of the back four to pick up the seconds. Just probably needed to do like a bit better in retaining possession after we've won it. Those little bits where we can retain possession during the times that we need to will help us have more possession throughout the game, and we'll be able to absolutely control the whole game. So we don't always need to rush things. That's the point I was trying to make in last week's analysis session as well. You guys are good enough to pass the ball 12 yards or somewhere between 6 to 12 yards. Do you know what I mean? Just need to move as the ball's traveling to create an option for your teammate or make those half space runs or overlap runs so we can get in behind. But if we can't, we should just be patient and switch play.
Can you just drop it back there, Bez, please?
Yeah.
Just 5-10 seconds. So good passage of play. We're out and we're looking for the front man. Kelvin, well done for mixing things up. So you've gone in behind, giving yourself space to play in between the lines, and then you've come feet. You see just there. So you see Liverpool do it so often. So Kelvin's playing Bobby Firmino perfectly. Pat, Henry. So wingers in the chat. What's the next run?
What?
Can you repeat that? Please.
Sorry, I've lost you. I can't hear you, lad.
I was gonna say
Say that again, Oscar.
So Kelvin's done well by mixing it up. So he's gone in behind, which has given him space in between the lines. So he's come feet to receive it because Tio's struggling to play forward. Great body shape. Well done. He's defended the ball, looked after it. From you, Matt, from you, Henry, and from you, Lewis, and when we're playing that, how can we help Kelvin out? He's done brilliantly well, to be fair, but
So there was when Kelvin came in and then he started going forward, there wasn't anyone really at striker making a run. So me or Henry should have gone more central and got him behind.
Perfect. If your 9 ever comes feet, we need someone offering to occupy those 2 centre halves, because otherwise, as a centre back, what you'll do is you'll close the space, and if they defend better, they nick it off of Kelvin. Whereas if you offer that run in behind, they drop, and it's easier for Kelvin to go at them.
Yeah.
Cool. So once again, it's that run that it might not even be for you. So 9 times out of 10, you don't get played. The one time you're in on goal, brilliant. But the run is for Kelvin to turn on it, to then have a better opportunity to go at them. Because can you see they've pressed it quite well?
Yeah. So, yeah, Oscar, that's spot on. So when you have the number 9 drop in, you want somebody else to be able to run in behind or give the centre backs a problem, and usually it's the wingers. So Liverpool, Firmino will drop, Salah and Mane will become like 2 centre forwards. So they change from like a 4-3-3 into a diamond. It would have worked better if Kelvin was marked by one of the centre backs and dragged him out. But what happens instead is Kelvin drops quite deep because he has to, because the distance to the pass is quite long. And that allows the centre mid to press, and the centre backs are happy at staying at home, where we would rather have one of these get dragged out a little bit. I think in this situation, you don't really have to force it. I mean, if we don't have a number 10, so Kelvin has to become the number 10. So we're losing number 9, but we've got all our 3 midfield players behind the ball, and they've got quite a lot of players behind the ball. So it's not a time to go forward. It's a time to switch, disrupt their shape, and then go forward. But as we've seen from last week's session, we're quite aggressive with going forward, and sometimes it works and pays off because the ability in our players, which is good. And there's nothing wrong with that if we do go forward. But yeah, we want to be able to kind of like set ourselves up in a way where we could play through the thirds. So if Kelvin does drop, drags out one of the centre backs, we need the wide players making those runs in behind, like Oscar said. A lucky TL, good ambition to try cross it with the left foot. Don't mind that. Fair enough, trying to put it in the box, but you know what I'm going to say? I would rather keep possession, get a better shape, switch play, and then put it in the box. It's just better for you guys. Let's just have a look here at how we've ended up in a 2v2. So we've tried to force it and put it in the box. We've got a lot of players committed. They've passed it out to the left back. Patrick's gone out. Lewis, you've gone very tight, very early, right? And this is a great example of sometimes that not working. it would have been better if this player, this wide player who's eventually received it, it would have been better if he just received it here on the touchline.
Yeah.
So that's why you see when you're watching the Premier League or Champions League and you're watching high level, where sometimes these wide players have got time and space to receive it on the touchline, and then they eventually dribble with the ball, right? Okay. The reason why is because the defender hasn't gone tight with them too early. Because if they do go tight to them too early, the player on the ball will just skip this player out. So don't go tight too early. Tyler's tried to intercept. Well, he has intercepted it, but don't get done on the movement. Get to the second ball first, Lewis, if you can. So this is quite important. And then Aiden needs to come round to make sure he gets his covering position. And then Midday needs to come all the way around. Is that Midday or Dan's? It is Midday, isn't it?
It was Midday, yeah.
Yeah. So Midday needs to tuck round all the way and be in line with his centre backs now. And it needs to be a sprint. So any fullbacks on the call, if you're playing non-league or if you're playing any level higher, you will be getting screamed at by the coach to get back in.
And that goes for the central midfield players as well. So if you see the 10 absolute acres of space, I know you've all locked on, which is fine. You force them to go long and we expect our centre halves to deal with it. But as soon as they don't deal with it, you have to get back in. You have to get back in. Because all Aiden and T are thinking is they're 9. That's their responsibility. They think 9, 9, 9. You have to take that responsibility off of them by getting there.
100%. I think that's a great spot, Oscar. Right, if we take it back, right, to where the ball is played, Ollie, Laurel, our 2 centre mids, and that's their number 10. 3v3 in the middle. So by all means, one of you midfield boys could always be marking their number 10. Do you get what I mean? His starting position is on the same line as you two, but he ends up getting around a good 5-6 yards ahead of you now. Again, same message, you'll be getting screamed at by the coach to be going with him.
Like, I stopped running when Tyler touched the ball, and that's why I was behind.
Yeah, so that's a great spot from you, Luel. Like, you recognize when you've stopped running. I would recommend that you stop running once we've secured possession, and then you almost take up a position where you can then get on the ball so we can keep possession instead of stopping running when he's just intercepted the pass. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And at the next level, you'll definitely see a difference with like the top centre mids. They would be following this player like automatically, and they would still be going until because what they would want to do is safe. Tyler did bring down the ball, yeah? You're not in a position to get it off him anyway, because that distance between you and him is quite big. So have it in your head where you want to always get the ball off your centre backs. If he did bring it down, he's still in trouble when he needs the centre mids to drop. So think about dropping as that ball is travelling. So there's another bit of detail there. As he's about to kick the ball, yeah, as the ball is travelling, our midfield players, Ollie and Laurel, should be dropping back in a straight line as the ball's in the air. As the ball bounces, you two will be in a better position to pick up the second ball. That's really important for centre mids to pick up second balls, is to travel backwards when the opposition have played it forwards. Another thing is, fair enough, the player's beaten Tyler, like, because he's committed. Maybe Tyler's committed too early, could still drop. We're in a bit of bother, so could delay and drop a little bit, still far away from his goal. And then you kind of delay and drop until they get into a shooting position. Hopefully by then your teammates will have recovered, and then that's when Taylor can engage. But Aiden's defensive cover position is very important, because if Tyler's going to engage the player on the ball, the player could play the number 9 in, and that's when Aiden needs to be touch tight to be able to stop, deal with that running behind as well. So there's quite a lot in this one clip. There's like a coaching point for nearly every player. All right, so this is quite important. I don't think I've touched on it enough, like with you guys, but who understands the principle of delaying?
Yeah.
Yeah, have you got any centre backs on the call? So it goes for centre backs and full backs, right? Well, it goes for anyone really, but in this position here, you would want to delay, and then when he gets into a shooting position, that's when you think about engaging. So the principles of delay is to like time when to engage. You drop to limit the space behind you, because the space in front of you is less dangerous than the space behind you. The space behind you is more dangerous, because if they exploit that space, they will be through on goal. So what you want to do is limit that space in behind by delaying and dropping. The more delay, the quicker you delay, the more you drop, there's less space in behind. This player on the ball, he's not going to do anything until he gets into a shooting position, which is near the edge of the box. That's when he can do something, because then he can shoot by himself. But during that whole time he was delaying, he won't be able to pass it into him, because you're limiting the space. So this player is driving. He's trying to make you commit. Don't commit. This is the opposite of the clip that I was talking about with Pat a few minutes ago. Trying to make the back four commit so you can slide in your teammate. The opposite of that is when you're defending, is you don't commit and you delay as much as possible. So we've done it wrong on both ends of the pitch, but it's not that deep. It's not a big deal, but it's just a coaching point. On the other end, we want to commit the back four before we slide, and on this end here, we've committed ourselves. So that's the principle of delay. Yeah, I hope you guys understood that about limiting the space behind you, because the space in front of you is less dangerous in this moment.
And just to add on to that, it's just a tiny little bit more detail. Delay, completely second that message. But for defenders, when do you delay until? Especially in those central areas.
So your
Just for the
players
box.
get back, basically.
So the boys get back, yeah, you want numbers under the ball, but if he keeps going and keeps going at you and keeps going at you, you've got to use that penalty box as markers on the pitch. So just before they get to that penalty box, if you're showing them outside, then you're okay. But if he's coming inside and you're still delaying, you've got to use that as a trigger point to go and engage.
Okay, so
penalty central.
Yeah, it's a good point, Oscar. We're using the box as a reference, but there's one thing that I think some of our under 23s players struggled with, is you don't end up inside the box. Okay, so the engaging position, the shooting position, is once you realize you're on the edge, you can't put 1 foot inside the box. If you put 1 foot inside the box or another foot inside the box, and you're inside the box by maybe half a yard or 1 yard, it means he's half a yard or 1 yard closer to the edge of your box. So you need to engage outside of the box and make sure you're not inside it. So that's another reference point. So definitely using your box, but you don't end up inside it. So yeah, there's quite a lot to go over in this clip. You delay the ball. The person on the ball is going to still have it, and then you block the shot by staying inside the box. And this one here, we get away with it in the end, but we want to stop those situations. Yeah. I think we can be just a bit more patient in possession instead of like trying to force it at times.
And the midfielder's cheeky.
Yeah, what, number 10?
Yeah,
this one here, yeah.
Small one.
Yeah, he's decent. He was decent. He was decent on the day. He was like a 10 to break their line, but he came deep to create 2 pivot players, which gave us a bit of a problem. And then number 9 came in quite deep, and their wide players came inside. So some of the points that we've gone over, they were trying to do it as well.
Lucky.
It's the idea about going forward. But Laurel, do you know why that pass didn't work, or sometimes why it might not work? So you've got the ball here, yeah, and you're trying to pass it into Henry in behind, yeah. This player here is in a decent position to kind of like defend it, if that makes sense. So what they would say is if you're trying to pass it without even making this player move in any way, they'll say you're forcing it. Do you get what I mean? Even if it was a better ball that would go over his head, he will be at the next level. He'll be in a position where he's tucked in, side on, and he'll drop. And then Henry, the best scenario would be he would get in, but at the next level, the fullback will be there, and it'll be like a 1v1 situation out wide. For you, Lowell, I don't know if forcing it from there was the best decision, because it's quite easy for the fullback to deal with it.
Yeah, I should have just turned out.
Yeah, what do you think?
Or set back to my other centre midfielder.
Yeah, Ollie was in there. Henry is probably screening for it, which I don't mind him doing, because that's what wingers do. They always want the ball, which is fine. But you've got to recognise, well, hold on, if I do play it, it might be forced. If you can get into that habit where you're keeping the ball, or the passes that you make will end up going through, you'll have like 99% possession. You'll be able to batter teams.
Yeah, I was definitely screaming for it.
What was that?
Great quality. That's what it was.
Definitely screaming from the ball from the real stuff.
Say that again, Henry. So did you want the ball from Laurel, yeah?
Yeah.
No, he said he was definitely screaming for it.
Oh, okay, yeah. I believe
that. Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I believe that. But that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think all right. So one tip for you, Henry, yeah, and for all wingers, if their fullback is in the right position, yeah, tucked in. Let me take it back so you guys can see it, because this happens at all levels, because the fullback's doing the right thing. It actually bit too far away from his centre back. So Kelvin, if the ball's on this side of the pitch, you need to come round. Maybe your starting position might be between the centre backs, and then you exploit this space that this. Do you get what I'm saying? Is that you, Kelvin? Yeah.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, cool. So in this situation, you can recognise that. But this player, just for example, if he's doing his job properly, he'll be more tucked in. Henry, if you want the ball that badly in that area, just make sure you're as wide as possible. If your starting position is narrow, you're kind of like making it easier for the fullback to engage or to intercept a pass that might be playing to you. If you're as wide as possible, this player should be tucked in. If you're as wide as possible and you're teasing him, you're actually creating space for your centre forward or for your number 10. Does that make sense? So if you are screaming it in this situation, just make sure you're on the touchline when you are screaming it. I think I can't tell from, maybe I can. I think there's like another 2 yards behind you that you could have used. And then that helps, like Laurel, who's passing it into you, his pass might not get cut out then. But I'll let the clips play. Not bad, good run. It was the right idea. It's fine. Could T.O. have committed one of the back four? Let's have a look. Gets it. Well, he has. That's spot on. The centre back committed himself. Yeah, this is what we're saying. Centre back committed himself, and Kelvin's recognised the centre backs come out and ran into that space. It's a good move. Being a bit picky. If there was a bit less weight on the pass and Kelvin could get a touch on it, we might have been through on goals. But it's the right idea. So good stuff. All right, so from throwing, when teams like shuffle over to that side, we want to switch play, which we've done, which is good. See, I don't think Mide needed to put that ball in. There's no one even in there. It could be, some might say it's a bit forced. I would say that's quite forced as well. But if you do find yourself in that situation, you look up, no one in the box, just keep possession. You want to be able to make them move so you create gaps for yourself before you go forward. Instead of going forward too early without moving them, it's easier for them to defend. That's the whole point I'm trying to make. It's on. That's fine. It's good. It's a good run. Kelvin, what do you think? To be fair, you try to chop inside, but I'm trying to see. Go on,
maybe I
you
could have
talk to me.
protected it, like, and then go like cut back in, like protect it, and then I try to pass it back for the runners, maybe a runner inside the box.
Yeah.
I feel like I could have protected instead of going for that. Could have maybe dragged it back and then hold it up a bit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So there's a few things you could have done. Like you're saying, protect the ball. All right. Protecting the ball will slow down play. It will allow them to get back in, but it will also allow us to get in the box and help you attack, like you've said.
Or maybe
chopping
shoot,
back. You could, yeah. I was gonna say, like, if you just
maybe
kind
just
of like,
shoot,
if you know where you are, yeah, which you will instinctively, you know where you are. Once you're in the box, just get a shot off.
Shoot off, yeah.
Because I think at the level that you're at and the higher level, I think defenders will get even tighter to you. You won't even have time to maybe even like get even try that chop.
Yeah.
I think at the next level, that defender would be already here now. Yeah. And as you shoot, he's probably putting his arm on your shoulder, trying to make you off balance. Yeah. So if you want to practice and develop your game, get into that habit of like shooting after you've made that run.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? It's difficult technique, but like if you keep practicing it, you just wrap your foot around it.
Yeah.
Good aggression from Pat. It's good counter pressing from us. The number 10's trying to keep it. We're doing all right. We've won a free kick. That's what we want to do. We want to be able to squeeze and like win the ball back. This is what I call suffocating teams, where we've gone into their final third. Yeah, they're trying to defend. They've won the ball back, but then we're in a position to win it back straight away. It's good counter pressing, and you do that by squeezing up and it should be coming from the centre backs. So the centre back should be screaming to the rest of the team to be as high as possible. Good goal, or is it offside? No, that's the first goal, yeah. Not bad. The wall didn't jump, no? That's crazy. No, good instincts, good finish, good idea. Well done. All right, so what I'm going to do, the last 10 to 15 minutes of this session, I'm going to let most of the video play and I'm going to let you guys do the talking. So anyone sees the coaching point, because if I keep going over every coaching point, I'm sometimes saying the same coaching point 2 or 3 times. There's no point. But when you guys see it, tell me to take the footage back, yeah?
Okay. Cool.
It's good from Henry that, you know, some like teams do that where they press the centre back, the fullback's gone really deep. Our fullback can't go. So that means Henry press the second player as well, which is good stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. If it's only 5 or 6 yards, you can press 2 players, one after the other. Sometimes you might have to. Lewis, it's about getting tight too early again and just getting the space behind you getting exploited. Did you see that?
Yeah. No, I just noticed that.
It's almost like identical as the other clip, and I think they've recognized it, you know, because it's something that I would say as well. I would be like, oh, if our wide player, if the fullback's going in way too tight into Henry, I'd be like, exploit the space behind him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, sure.
So from throw-ins, if we can think about switching play, because you know the team's obviously shuffled over. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They had no players on this side of the pitch, but they had around 6 on that little quadrant. So this is what these analysis sessions are for, so you could see, it. If the cameraman zooms out a bit. All right, so what they're going to do is we've got a throw in, so they're going to try like pin us in. So we have to find the switch. Let's see how we get on. Okay. So that was a mistake. Obviously, we don't want that from happening. What about our setup? So where's the goalie?
I'm not sure if Will's like come to receive it. It's like I've thrown it back to like Tyler. It looks like Will's come so tight. He's like tried to receive it himself.
Yeah. There's no need for Tyler to play that pass first time. He could control it. The distance between the number 9 is like ages away. Didn't need to like hesitate. Just have it under control. The detail of Will, yeah. Is Will on the call? Any goalkeepers on the call?
No, I don't think they are. No.
This is what it's supposed to be like, and this is what they work at in Fulham. This is what they work on quite a lot. The goalkeeper would be on this side of the post. Like, say if you've got a throw in, Lewis, yeah?
Yeah.
You're throwing it back to Tyler. Centre back's got it there. The goalkeeper would be here. He wouldn't be here.
Mm.
He would be here. Because the number 9 that's pressing, if the goalkeeper's here, it's easier for the number 9 to press. If the goalkeeper's here, you're more likely to have the ball go beyond the number 9, even though it's a square pass, and square passes are like heart attack passes. Don't really want to do them.
Yeah.
The proper setup for us, the goalkeeper would be here, Aiden would be up here, and we'll have our 2 centre mids drop into receiver on the edge of the box. But we didn't get the setup right, and we got punished for it. So it's one of those where every yard on the pitch counts. Those are the passes that we work on to break lines. They know about that. You can tell with the way they play. They know those passes are going to hurt them. That's why they've tried to stop it. It's a great run from you, Pat. It's a good ball.
Though for record, the reason why that's so good is Tio's filling your space to play in between the lines. So normally Bez wants you to come inside. Tio should be the other side, by like in between the referee and their centre half, but he's not. So well done for recognise it. And also Lewis Addison's not on the overlap, so it's perfect to mix up your game. That running behind.
Yeah, where is Lewis right now?
I'm not sure.
No, I don't think.
I think, Lewis, you need to be somewhere up here now.
Okay, yeah.
And then, so Tio should be in this pocket, like Oscar said. Starting position, Kelvin, you could have your starting position between the centre-backs because Tio is going to do that run, yeah? You could stay here and do that one. Even though I ask you to make that run when the number 10 drops, which obviously you know makes sense, but that's fine. And then, Pat, you can be on this zone between this centre back and wherever this fullback is. I think it's really wide. Yeah. So you could be here, or you could be on the overlap. To be fair, like their fullback needs to be tucked in. He's not, and he's all over the place. And you've gone on the outside shoulder of him, which is fine. But if you split the pitch up into 5 lanes, yeah, I'll try to break this down for you guys. I won't be too long. The FA split the pitch up into 5 lanes, right? They call this lane the channel, which Henry's occupying. They call this lane here like the half space, which is where Tio is going to be here when the ball's on this side. Then they've got the central zone, which the number 9 usually occupies. Then on the other side, we've got the other half space, which Pat I asked Pat to tuck in when it was the right time, not to stay in there all the time, to start wide and then tuck into that half space. And the right channel for this game, we said it was going to be for our right back. As long as we have those 5 channels covered with our attacking players, we should be fine. So in this clip here, Leroy's got the ball. We need Tio in this one. Kelvin's doing the central one. And Lewis, we need you slightly higher. So Lewis, I think you should be somewhere around here.
I think I'm higher up than that.
Yeah, he's
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's excellent. Okay, good stuff. So you and Pat could create the 2v1 on their fullback. Yeah? So you being that high helps Pat create the 2v1. But in this case, it's just Pat that ran through by himself, which is fine. But I think it's a good picture to go over the 5 lanes with everyone.
Yes, yeah.
And you could set up with different formations based on the players that you have to occupy the 5 lanes. That's how I do it. So Henry being rapid, I wanted him on the outside channel. Pat being like good with his feet in the pockets, I wanted him on the half space. And I wanted to see you how you do on the overlap. That's basically how it was done. And then Tio would be occupying the other half space. So in any formation that you guys set up with in the future, if you have players occupying those 5 lanes, you should be fine. All right, it's a good finish. It came out of nowhere. So let's have a look. Or did it come from good pressing? Ollie nice and tight on the 4, which is good. Yeah, we'll give it as good pressing. Do you know what I mean? Ollie being there, yeah. Ollie pressing. We've gone 3v3. Teo's on that one. Laurel's on that one. Ollie's on that one. Good stuff. They're trying to make the pitch big, trying to drag us out, but we've gone with them, messed up, and we've punished them. Good finish, Kelvin. Right in the corner. Kept it low. It's good. It's all a bit like we're rushing, but I just think sometimes we don't need to. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you guys just need to understand like how good you are at keeping the ball and then actually doing it. Because I think you go forward, you go gun ho like quite a lot. I think it would be better if you just trusted yourselves. All right. So has anyone got anything with this clip here?
I think I've done the same thing which I'd done before. I was like too tight, and then it's drawn like Tyler to come over again. It's exactly the same as what was happening before, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't go tight too early. And to be fair, like no need Lewis because the wide player that you usually occupying has dropped to become a centre mid. Teo's doing that job for you. Pat's doing this job. No one's doing a job on the player on the ball. We could have Kelvin maybe put pressure on him. But I wouldn't want Pat going out there and then you doing this exactly for this reason.
Yeah. When you go that high though, Anderson, you can get away with it. So if you go back, there you go. Sorry, Bez. It's just lagging. So press play for me, please.
Yeah.
Stop it there. So we're fine there. Absolutely fine there. And then they go back in. So press it again. Sorry, Bez. Here you can get away with it, but what you've done is you've passed it over to Ollie Cox. And this is the same thing so that pivot, his main responsibility is making sure that nothing can go into the front, into their front line. So with you, if you do go that high, then it is really, really important that you track that runner and do that in between space. So between the left back and I think it's their 10, and then Ollie Cox, with your cursor, Bez, can you go in line with safe? So back in line with, so sorry. Yeah. So if Ollie Cox a little bit higher, but if Ollie Cox goes into that space, then you can get away with it because you're all locked on. You can apply pressure onto the football, but there's still that protection if the ball goes long. So if you find yourself in that situation, both of you can't go high. It's one of you goes high, and then one of you make sure nothing goes into their front line.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, that message for our centre mids, like tracking runners, is massive out of possession. So if we have ended up in this situation here, once the ball's been played, remember what we said at the start of the session is as the ball's travelling backwards, our centre mids have got to be going backwards with it to pick up any second balls. But you can't let this player who started behind you, who's also a centre mid, like he's one of the midfield three, run past you like that. So you've got to be able to track your runners, track the players that you're marking. But in that situation there, just think, Lewis just needs to drop off just so we don't exploit that and then just let Ollie do the job. You've pointed at him, but you've almost just stayed high. I'm not too sure what you're doing now. Fair enough. Tyler's come across with the number 9. He's doing his job. But Ollie needs to track this one. Just having a look at this player here, Pat. That was your man that you've lost. That's the fullback. So again, it's just that the finer like little bits that you got to do. As the ball's gone behind you, you can't just watch it. You got to kind of like keep marking the player that you're supposed to be marking.
And when you're Bez, but when you're in those 3v3, 2v2, 1v1 2v2, 3v3 situations, both of you can't do the same job. So if you just pass it, if you just a little bit further back, Bez, press play for me. So Anderson, if you notice what you do, you're facing the goal and T has gone feet and stopped him from turning. If you can't nick the ball from the front straight away, because you're facing the goal direction, that's just for you, straight line, go cover in, T go play right back, T go play right back. And then that's information, then you've got your back four sorted. Okay, so that space is completely negated. Whereas you're both trying to do the same job and you get played round and that causes us to be fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I would recommend, Lewis, is don't do this job. Leave the midfield boy up to Ollie. You've already pointed at him a few seconds ago.
Yeah.
And then just get back in line with your back four. Oscar's right about like Tyler coming across and protecting the space behind you. That's spot on when you have gone. But this is a situation where you just be thinking, Ollie could do it. You've pointed at him. Start to drop massively.
Sorry, Bez. It wasn't the first one. It's the second one that I'm talking about. Do you get what I mean, Anderson?
Yeah, no, yeah, because
that comes into here because you're facing the goal. Just get in. So our back four's out of shape already. You've got to recognise that. Okay, go. How can I make this as sturdy as possible, as quickly as possible? And having your right centre back and your right back playing on the touch line is about as unsturdy as it gets because they get in behind so easily. And then it could Aiden and Midi to be fucked as well. So just fill in.
Yeah. Okay, mate. Yeah.
Okay, so if anyone sees anything, just feel free to ask questions or pick out on something that you've seen. And just think about the things that we've already gone over. Good play, Kelvin.
And well done, Tio, as well. So 9's gone feet. You've made that run in behind. Well done. It doesn't always have to come from the wingers. That third man run can come from a 10 as well.
I feel like I could have played him in though. When I turned, I should have probably got my head up earlier when I was on the run because he made a good run. Like I could have, like,
yeah, you could have done, but it's a goal. Do you know what I mean? The final product, yes, we're looking at the best scenario and best situations that we can come up with. But second phase, we've done very, very well, and it's a goal. And the thing is with Tio, this is what I was trying to, rabbit on about, is that it's not just about you. The run isn't always just about you to receive it and get into a 1v1 situation. He's allowed you time to turn because he's occupied those two centre-backs. So it's a perfect clip for what I said previously with trying to get Pat and Henry in off the line. Sorry, I'm trying to. We are trying to let you watch the clip, but. So well done, you've occupied. So you can see straight away the left centre-back and the middle one are running backwards towards the goal because they're worried about Tio. That's allowed you to get into that 1v1 situation. Anyway, we will let you watch the game, boys. Sorry, we keep talking over the top of it. Well, I do anyway.
No, it's good. That's what we're here for, isn't it?
Definitely.
I reckon we would have won the league this year.
Yeah, I think so. I think we've got a good squad.
Yeah, we had a good squad. I can't even lie.
I think it was balanced all around the pitch, to be honest. We just needed to keep working on our finer detail and the tweaks, which is what we would have done throughout the whole year, like week in, week out. Like every season, we got better as the season goes along. That's just naturally what happens, and I think that's what would have happened with us. And but looking at it now, our first game, this was not bad. It's some good stuff. Do you get what I mean? With the way we pressed, one of our goals came from it. We've had some good patterns of play. I think as the season would have went on, we would have been better at controlling possession even more. We would have switched play even more, and we would have just looked like the University Barcelona team. I think you guys are good enough to do it.
Can't wait to get back.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
Hey, Besim, you're gone, innit?
I'm still in London for now. So like as long as I'm in London, I can still like work for Kingston Uni, work with you guys. But I think as soon as I relocate to Liverpool, I'll be gone. That's when I'll say my goodbyes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm working for them from home, but not relocated yet because of all the COVID stuff.
What was the final score for this game?
It was
4-3, something like that.
either 4-3 or 5-4.
4, yeah, it was one of them.
Yeah.
Win.
Okay, boys, that's the half done. Yeah. So it's taken up. We've done over an hour now. We've done like an hour, and if we started from 6, we've done nearly an hour and a half. So I don't really want to do any more because I don't want it to become boring. But I enjoyed tonight. I thought it was good, and I think everyone joining in and giving their opinion on the clips as well, which is very good, which is what we want. I don't want to keep you guys too longer tonight. So before I wrap everything up, has anyone got anything else to say?
No, nothing.
Say thank you, really. So you and Oscar and
I think
Lewis and Patrick. Cheers,
Good.
guys.
Nice one, guys.
I
Oscar,
think
anything?
also expanded my knowledge as well. It kind of helps.
Yeah.
It's like not just it's like valuable tips that we can use for another game, whether we're playing with uni or not.
That's good.
So,
That's
yeah.
exactly what we want.
Yeah.
What I want to do is if you guys like, because that football I've got so many, it's got so many elements to it. It's got so many layers to it. Yeah. I've got a lot of content from my Fulham days, and I can put content together. I kind of want to show you guys a bit more of some modern trends that you guys might not ever be able to find out. Does that make sense? Unless like a coach or an analyst sits down and explains it to you. There's a couple of systems that I've got in the locker where I could share.
That'd be good.
I'd appreciate that.
And during lockdown last year, I was doing like quite a lot of unit sessions and individual analysis sessions with players in position. So I've got all the content from that. So what I think moving forward, before I finalize it, Oscar, is there anything from you?
Not really. Just thank you, boys. As you know, just seconding Besim, really enjoyed it. And you know, I think this content, a lot of it, with what we've said, you can be really reflective and take this time. It depends how seriously you want to take it. But me and Besim are here to help. So if there is a part of your game in which, okay, so I'm not picking on you, Tio, but for example, making that third man running behind or whatever, if there's things that you notice that are continually cropping up, both me and Besim have got access to this thing called Y Scout, in which we can get any clips from any league, from any player, and we can supply best practice clips for yourselves as well for analysis sessions. So if you can be reflective in these periods and see what you think you need to work on, we can have those discussions with yourselves. We can provide things that are really tailored towards you as well.
Yeah, I think I'd really enjoy like seeing some like clips from other teams as well, just to see like obviously some of this like plays and scopes and stuff. Like opportunities for it, I think it'd be decent.
Okay, sounds good. So for the next session, this is what I want to do. I want to do 2 days a week. Yeah. So Mondays and Wednesdays. Is that good for anyone, or can people on here not do that?
Yeah, that's fine.
It's good.
Good for me.
Yeah,
that's good with me. What's better, 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
6, yeah?
Yeah, 6.
All right. So we'll do Mondays and Wednesdays 6 o'clock. We'll keep it just 1 hour from 6 till 7 on Mondays and Wednesdays. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we'll do next week on a Monday, we'll watch 22 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, I'm the
And then on the Wednesday at 6 o'clock, we'll watch the rest of that second half, which is basically this game. Yeah. And then the week after that, on the Monday and Wednesday,